Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a cycle? Like every day feels the same, and nothing really changes? It's like life has lost its flow, right? But what if I told you there's a subtle shift happening within you right now? You may not have noticed it yet, but it's there. A quiet call to break free from the old and start creating the life you have always dreamed of. In this video, I'm going to show you how entering creator mode can change everything. This isn't just about mindset. It's a personal transformation that will reshape your entire world. Are you ready? Let's dive in. You know that feeling when life just becomes mechanical, when your days are filled with tasks, routines, obligations, and yet something feels off. You do everything you're supposed to, wake up, get to work, handle your responsibilities, and still, it feels like something's missing. It's like you're moving through life on autopilot. The motions are there, but the energy, the passion, it's just gone. Maybe you've even tried to shake it off. Maybe you've convinced yourself that this is just how life is supposed to be. But deep inside, you know that's not the case, don't you? There's this quiet exhaustion that starts to weigh on you, but it's not a physical tiredness, it's deeper, a fatigue of the soul. It's as if your spirit is asking for something more, something beyond the repetition and predictability. You feel it growing, that restless feeling, like a part of you is ready to break free, but doesn't quite know how yet. This is the moment where something changes. It's subtle at first, almost imperceptible, a quiet voice, an internal nudge telling you that you can't keep living like this. This isn't a burnout from work or just a bad day. It's something more profound. It's a call to step into something new, to let go of the old patterns that no longer serve you. That exhaustion you feel, that disconnection from your daily life, it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're on the verge of transformation. It's like your spirit knows you're ready for something greater, something real. This is the point where you stop forcing yourself to live a life that doesn't align with who you are, and start making room for the life that does. And this is the first step toward entering what I call creator mode. It's the moment when the old routines just don't feel right anymore, and you begin to sense that there's a new way of living, a new chapter waiting for you to open it. And the best part? You're the one who gets to write that chapter. Think of it like this: that feeling of discomfort, that quiet voice asking for change, is actually your soul pushing you forward. It's preparing you for a shift from being reactive, where life just happens to you, to becoming the creator of your own reality. This is your breaking point, but not in a negative way. This is where you break free from the life you've been living and begin to create something new, something intentional, something that reflects who you truly are. You see, the moment you start to sense that quiet call within, something powerful is happening. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's undeniable, a shift. It's like an awakening from a long slumber. You begin to realize that the life you've been living, the routines you've been following, were never really yours to begin with. They were shaped by expectations, obligations, and the demands of the world around you. But what if life could be different? What if you could be different? This is where you enter what I call creator mode. It's the moment you stop being a passenger in your life and take the wheel. You're no longer living by default, reacting to whatever comes your way. Instead, you begin to live with intention. Every action, every choice, every thought starts to come from a place of purpose, rather than simply responding to the circumstances that surround you. It's as though a new chapter is beginning, where you're not just a character in the story, but the author of the narrative. Now, let me ask you this: what does it mean to truly create? Philosophers like Nietzsche spoke of the concept of the Übermensch, the idea that we as humans have the potential to transcend our limitations and become creators of meaning in our lives. He believed that we're not just bound by the scripts given to us by society or fate, but we have the power to write our own. In creator mode, this idea comes to life. Living reactively, as most of us do, is like being swept along by a river. You float, you adjust, but you never really choose the direction. Most people don't even realize they're doing this. The routines, the habits, the roles we play. It's easy to think that's just how life works. But creator mode is different. It's like deciding to step out of the river, to look at the bigger picture, and then choosing to re-enter the water with intention, this time guiding the current rather than being carried by it. Imagine this: life is a canvas, and up until now, most of the strokes have been painted by someone else. Creator mode is about picking up the brush and painting something uniquely yours. It's the realization that, while you can't control everything that happens, you can absolutely control how you respond and how you shape your experience. And that's where your true power lies. This isn't just about positive thinking or setting goals. It's about fundamentally shifting your perspective, from seeing life as something that happens to you, to something you actively participate in shaping. You're not just reacting to the world anymore, you're creating it. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, they all start to align with who you truly are. And when that happens, the external world begins to reflect those internal changes. Think of ancient philosophers like the Stoics, who believed in the importance of living with virtue, purpose, and intention. They taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. In many ways, creator mode embodies this philosophy. It's about mastering yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions so that you can begin to shape the life you truly want. Instead of being a passive observer of your life, you become a deliberate architect. But how do you know when you've truly entered creator mode? It's often marked by a profound sense of discomfort with your current life, a discomfort that, at first, feels unsettling, but is actually a sign of growth. It's as though the old ways of doing things no longer fit. You look around at the patterns you've been following, the roles you've been playing, and you begin to question them. This questioning is powerful because it's the first step toward transformation. Here's where it gets interesting. The desires, passions, and dreams that you've buried deep inside begin to resurface. They were never gone. They were just waiting for you to be ready to see them. In creator mode, these hidden desires don't feel like distant dreams anymore. They start to feel real, tangible, and within reach. And as you begin to align your actions with these desires, something incredible happens. Life starts responding to you. Opportunities begin to present themselves. People cross your path who align with your journey, and challenges that once seemed insurmountable start to feel like stepping stones towards something greater. This isn't magic, it's the result of living with purpose. You're no longer simply reacting to the world, you're deliberately shaping it, one thought, one action at a time. But let's not forget, this shift into creator mode requires courage. It's not easy to break away from the patterns and habits that have guided your life for so long. The familiar, even when it's unfulfilling, feels safe. But the real magic happens when you embrace the unknown, when you step into the uncertainty with faith that the path will reveal itself as you move forward. And this is what makes creator mode so powerful. It's not about controlling every aspect of your life, it's about trusting in the flow of life while guiding it with clarity and intention. The great philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Entering creator mode is that step, a step toward living a life that's truly your own, designed by your deepest desires and guided by your most authentic self. As you begin to enter creator mode, something profound happens. You start to realize that the old patterns you've been living by no longer serve you. These patterns are comfortable, yes, but they also keep you stuck. They've been shaped by the expectations of society, by fears, and by habits you may not even be aware of. And while these routines give you a sense of security, they also limit your potential. The truth is, you can't create something new if you're still clinging to the old. This is where the power of letting go comes in. Letting go isn't just about releasing the things that no longer work in your life. It's about trusting that something better will take their place. In many spiritual traditions, the act of letting go is seen as an essential part of transformation. The Taoists believe in the concept of Wu Wei, action through non-action. It's about allowing life to flow without forcing it, about trusting the natural order of things, and releasing the need to control every outcome. In creator mode, this spiritual principle takes center stage. You begin to understand that in order to create the life you truly desire, you have to release the parts of your life that no longer resonate with who you are becoming. It's like a snake shedding its skin. The old self must be released for the new self to emerge. But here's the spiritual insight that often goes unnoticed. Letting go doesn't mean giving up control. It means shifting from a place of control through force to a place of control through trust. It's about trusting in the flow of the universe, trusting that as you align with your deeper purpose, the right opportunities, people, and circumstances will come into your life naturally. This is the essence of co-creation, working with the universe, rather than against it. Many spiritual teachers, from the Buddha to Eckhart Tolle, speak of the power of surrender, surrendering not in defeat, but in faith. Faith that life is unfolding in your favor, even when you can't see the full picture. In creator mode, this surrender is a key part of the process. You begin to let go of the need to micromanage every detail of your life. Instead, you focus on aligning your thoughts, actions, and energy with what you truly desire, and you trust that the universe will respond in kind. It's important to understand that letting go isn't a one-time act. It's a practice, a daily decision to release what no longer serves you. And sometimes it's the things we're most attached to that we need to let go of the most, whether it's a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling job, or even an outdated belief about who we are and what we're capable of. These attachments often feel like anchors, grounding us in what feels familiar, but they also prevent us from sailing into new, uncharted waters. Here's where spirituality and creation meet. When you let go, you create space. Space for new ideas, new opportunities, and new energy to flow into your life. The universe abhors a vacuum, and when you release something that's no longer aligned with your true self, you invite something more aligned to fill its place. This is the spiritual law of detachment, where you set your intentions, but let go of the need to control how and when they will manifest. You trust the process, knowing that what is meant for you will come in divine timing. Think of it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you nurture it, and you trust that, in time, it will sprout. The same is true in creator mode. You plant the seeds of intention, you take inspired action, and then you let go. You allow the universe to do its part, trusting that your desires will bloom when the time is right. But letting go also requires courage. It's not easy to release what you've held onto for so long, even if it's no longer serving you. It's a leap of faith into the unknown, and that can be terrifying. But this is where the spiritual path provides guidance. The great spiritual masters have always taught that the unknown is where true growth happens. It's in the space of uncertainty that we find our deepest truths and our greatest potential. In many ways, this mirrors the journey of the soul. In spiritual teachings, the soul is said to evolve through experiences of letting go of ego, letting go of fear, and ultimately letting go of the illusion of separation. When you enter creator mode, you begin to align with your soul's purpose. You start to realize that life isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you. You are a vessel for creation, a co-creator with the universe, and the more you let go of the need to control, the more powerful your creative force becomes. This is where the practice of mindfulness and presence comes in. When you are present, truly present, you're not weighed down by the past or anxious about the future. You're able to see clearly what needs to be released, and you're able to trust that whatever is meant to come will come. Mindfulness teaches us that every moment is a new beginning, and with each breath, we can let go of what no longer serves and make space for what does. Spiritual masters often remind us that attachment is the root of suffering. We suffer when we hold on to things that are not meant for us, whether it's old habits, outdated beliefs, or relationships that no longer align with our highest good. But when we practice letting go, we free ourselves from this suffering. We step into a state of flow, where life unfolds with grace, and we become active participants in the co-creation of our reality. In creator mode, this letting go is essential. It allows you to move from a reactive state, where you're simply responding to what life throws at you, into a creative state, where you're actively shaping your life in alignment with your true desires. And as you let go, you begin to notice something amazing. The universe starts to mirror your inner state. As you release the old, new possibilities emerge. As you let go of control, opportunities flow to you effortlessly. You're no longer fighting the current, you're moving with it, guided by your inner wisdom and the flow of life itself. This is the power of letting go. It's not about losing control, it's about gaining clarity. It's about creating space for the new, and trusting that the universe has your back, always guiding you toward the life you're meant to live. As you start to let go and trust the process, something incredible happens. You begin to experience what's known as flow. This isn't just a spiritual idea, it's a state of being where everything starts to align. You've probably heard athletes talk about being in the zone, or artists describing moments where the world around them disappears and they lose track of time. That's flow. It's when your actions seem effortless, everything feels connected, and things just click. But here's the fascinating part: living in flow isn't just reserved for athletes, artists, or extraordinary people. It's something you can experience every day, whether you're working, creating, or simply living your life. And once you understand how to tap into it, life starts to feel different. Instead of pushing against resistance, you feel like you're being gently carried toward your goals. Obstacles that once seemed impossible to overcome now feel like natural stepping stones along the way. Imagine waking up every day feeling excited about what's to come, like the universe is constantly working in your favor. That's what flow feels like. You stop fighting life, and you start moving with it, guided by a sense of purpose and ease. And the beauty of it: the more you live in flow, the more synchronicities start to appear in your life. Have you ever had one of those days where everything just falls into place? Where you meet the right people at the right time, opportunities seemingly come out of nowhere, or solutions appear just when you need them? That's not a coincidence. It's what happens when you align your inner world with the flow of life. Think about it. What if the universe is constantly sending you signs and opportunities, but you've been too busy or stressed to notice them? Living in flow is like turning up the volume on those subtle signals, making it easier for you to see the path that's been laid out for you all along. And it's not just about work or creativity. It can affect every area of your life. Relationships, health, personal growth, they all start to flourish when you're in flow. But how do you get there? How do you tap into this state of effortless creation? The key is presence. When you're present in the moment, really present, you're no longer distracted by the noise of the past or the worries of the future. You're fully tuned into what's happening right now, and that's where the magic happens. Let me give you an example. Have you ever been so engrossed in a conversation that hours pass by without you even noticing? Or have you been working on a project and suddenly time seems to disappear? That's a taste of flow. It's a moment where your mind, body, and spirit are completely in sync. In these moments, you're not overthinking, you're not forcing, you're simply being. And when you're in this state, you're in alignment with the natural rhythm of life. One of the most interesting things about living in flow is how much lighter life feels. You stop wasting energy trying to control every little detail, and instead, you focus on what truly matters. You become more productive, not because you're working harder, but because you're working smarter. You start to realize that the effort you put in is magnified when it's aligned with the flow of life. It's like paddling downstream instead of fighting the current. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Studies in positive psychology have shown that people who experience flow on a regular basis are not only more productive but also happier. Why? Because living in flow is deeply connected to living with purpose. When your actions are aligned with what you truly desire, it creates a sense of fulfillment that can't be achieved by simply checking off tasks or reaching goals that aren't aligned with your heart. But let's dive deeper into what this looks like in daily life. Have you ever noticed how children seem to live in flow all the time? They're fully absorbed in the moment, whether they're playing, creating, or exploring. They're not worried about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. They're fully engaged in the present. That's a huge lesson for us. Somewhere along the way as adults, we lose that ability to live in the moment because we're consumed with stress, worry, and endless to-do lists. One way to start living in flow is to reintroduce play and creativity into your life. When was the last time you did something just for the fun of it? Whether it's painting, writing, playing an instrument, or even going for a walk in nature, these moments of joy reconnect you with your inner child and help you tap into flow. Let's not forget meditation. It might sound simple, but meditation is one of the most powerful tools to cultivate flow. It teaches you to quiet your mind, focus on the present, and release the need to control every outcome. In fact, some of the most successful creators, entrepreneurs, and innovators credit meditation as a key practice for staying in a state of flow. Here's another secret: focus on what excites you. Flow is most easily accessed when you're doing something you love. When you're passionate about what you're working on, the energy flows naturally. Think of it like a river. The water always finds the easiest path. Your energy works the same way when you're aligned with your passions. If you're feeling resistance, it might be a sign that you're out of alignment with what truly excites you. And here's the thing: flow doesn't mean life becomes perfect or that challenges disappear. Far from it. But what changes is how you move through those challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, you start to see them as opportunities for growth. When you're living in flow, you trust that everything is happening for a reason, even the setbacks. You start to see the bigger picture and trust that every challenge is guiding you towards something greater. Imagine waking up every day feeling light, energized, and excited for what's to come. Imagine moving through your day with ease, knowing that whatever happens, you're in sync with the flow of life. That's what it means to live in flow. And the best part, this isn't just for a select few. It's available to everyone, including you. As you step into creator mode, the first and most essential key is awareness. It's easy to overlook the autopilot patterns that shape our days, those small, unnoticed habits that keep us stuck in cycles. But awareness is the gateway to change. Start by paying attention to the seemingly insignificant moments, how you start your day, the way you react to situations, or even the tone you use with yourself. These details matter. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Without awareness, it's easy to let weeds of negativity, doubt, or fear take root. But with mindful attention, you can start planting the seeds of creativity, positivity, and intention. The beauty of this practice is that it's not about overhauling your life overnight. Small, deliberate steps can lead to extraordinary transformations. For example, consider Sarah, a busy professional who, for years, felt stuck in her routine. She realized that if she could change just one thing, it was how she began her mornings. Instead of grabbing her phone and reacting to emails, she started her day with 5 minutes of journaling, simply asking herself, "What do I want to create today?" Over time, this small shift sparked larger changes in her approach to work, relationships, and ultimately her sense of purpose. It was her first step into creator mode. Remember, it's not about grand gestures or immediate results. It's about shifting your focus, one small habit at a time. Ask yourself, what can I observe today? What can I do differently today? These questions may seem simple, but they hold immense power. Here's something fascinating. Studies show that even just noticing your automatic thoughts can begin to change them. The moment you become aware of a habit, you've already taken the first step to breaking it. How amazing is that? Your mind is literally wired to transform with awareness, so start small. Maybe today it's pausing before you speak. Tomorrow, It might be taking a few minutes to reflect on your goals. Each small act of awareness is a step closer to living with intention and purpose. You're shifting from passive observer to deliberate creator. Your transformation is underway, and it all begins with one powerful question: what do I want to create today? Now that you've started cultivating awareness, it's time to fully embrace your creative power. This is the part where you become the architect of your life, where you stop waiting for change to happen and instead take the reins to create the life you want. But here's an interesting question: why don't we do this more often? Why do we hesitate to listen to that inner voice calling us to something greater? The truth is, most of us have been conditioned to doubt ourselves. From an early age, we're taught to follow the rules, to fit in, to seek external validation. We're told to be realistic and to put our dreams on the back burner in favor of what society expects of us. As a result, we silence our own inner guidance, ignoring the creative impulses that are trying to break free. Think about it. How many times have you had a spark of inspiration, only to talk yourself out of it? Maybe you wanted to start a new project, change careers, or pursue a passion, but then that little voice in your head said, "It's too risky," or "What if I fail?" We let fear, doubt, and the comfort of the familiar hold us back. But the irony is that we feel most alive when we are creating, when we're pursuing something that truly lights us up. Here's the catch: that creative spark inside of you, that whisper of intuition, it doesn't go away. It may get quieter over time, buried under layers of societal expectations, self-doubt, and the noise of everyday life, but it's always there, waiting for you to listen. And embracing your creative power is about turning up the volume on that voice, trusting it, and letting it guide you. Why don't we listen to ourselves? One reason we don't listen to ourselves is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. It's easier to stay in the safety of our comfort zones than to take the bold leap into something uncertain. But here's the thing: growth always involves discomfort. Change is unsettling because it forces us to confront what we don't know. However, that very discomfort is a sign that you're on the right path, the path to something greater. Another reason is external noise. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded by opinions, advice, and expectations. Social media tells us how we should live, what success looks like, and what happiness means. With so many voices in the mix, it's easy to lose track of our own. That's why cultivating stillness and tuning out the external chatter is so important. When you quiet the outside world, you can finally hear yourself again. Here's an interesting fact. Neuroscience research shows that when we daydream or engage in activities that allow our minds to wander, we activate the brain's default mode network, the very system responsible for creativity and self-reflection. In other words, when you give yourself space to think, your mind naturally taps into its creative power. This is why moments of solitude, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking a walk, are so crucial for reconnecting with your inner voice. Here's another thing to consider: what if you could flip the fear? What if, instead of letting fear paralyze you, you used it as fuel for your creativity? Every time you feel afraid of stepping into the unknown, realize that fear is simply a signal that you're on the edge of growth. It's your mind's way of protecting you from uncertainty. But uncertainty is where all the magic happens. Instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Take inspiration from people like Steve Jobs, who famously said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Jobs wasn't immune to fear, but he didn't let it stop him from pursuing his vision and creating something that changed the world. The key difference between creators and those who stay stuck is that creators act despite their fear. Embracing your creative power isn't about grand gestures or radical changes overnight. It's about making a commitment to yourself each day to live more deliberately, to act from a place of intention rather than reactivity, to trust your instincts and take small but meaningful steps toward your vision. Here's a story that illustrates this beautifully. Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, talks about how she used to be terrified of rejection. Early in her career, she received rejection letter after rejection letter for her writing. But she kept going, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she refused to let that fear dictate her life. She believed so deeply in her creative calling that she was willing to endure the discomfort and keep writing. Her persistence eventually paid off, and her story became a worldwide phenomenon, inspiring millions. The lesson? Embracing your creative power means staying committed, even when the road is tough. So what will you create? Will you allow fear to hold you back, or will you let it propel you forward? Will you continue to live reactively, or will you choose to live deliberately? The power is already within you. It always has been. You just need to tap into it. Remember, the journey of embracing your creative power isn't about reaching a final destination. It's an ongoing process, one that evolves as you do. Some days you'll feel like you're in the flow, creating effortlessly. Other days you may struggle to hear that inner voice. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep listening, and keep creating. Here's a challenge for you tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone or start your daily routine, take just 5 minutes to ask yourself, what do I want to create today? You might be surprised at how that small shift in mindset can open up a world of possibilities. Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. I truly believe that you're now ready to unlock your creative power and step into the life you've always envisioned. Remember, this is just the beginning. Every small step you take from here can lead to profound shifts in your life. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that will help you stay connected to your creative energy and personal growth. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences or reflections in the comments below. What was the moment that made you realize you wanted to create the life you truly desire? When did you feel that subtle shift, that spark to break free from the ordinary? I'm always inspired by your stories. And who knows, in future videos, I might even highlight some of the most powerful breakthroughs shared here. Together, we're building a community of creators, and your journey can inspire others just as much as it inspires me. So, what will you create today? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you.